Many people dream of finding themselves posted on a white sand beach on an island in the Pacific, sipping a tropical drink and flicking tenacious hermit crabs off their belongings. If you're ambitious and a bit stupid like Jason Brody and company, then you may try to spice up the proceedings with a bit of skydiving. So begins Far Cry 3, a game about a bunch of American yuppies on a vacation that has seriously gone wrong. Back in 2004, Far Cry's open world gameplay was revolutionary. Roaming tropical islands and slaying mercs and trigens created quite a splash before being encumbered by the tsunami that was Doom 3 and Half-Life 2 later the same year. With Stalker being the only other franchise to successfully merge open world shooting with light RPG elements, and Crytek moving toward more traditional levels for their Crysis games, the market is wide open for Ubisoft's Vacation from Hell simulator. While living up in Bangkok in order to celebrate his younger brother obtaining his pilot's license, Jason Brody and crew make the ill-fated decision to go skydiving. They happen to land on an island infested with pirates, and they are taken hostage where they're primed to be sold into slavery. Jason escapes and meets some locals who aid him in his quest to find his friends and escape, since they see it as an opportunity to have Jason liberate their island. It's a tale that's part Deliverance, part Indiana Jones, with a dash of the drug-abusing hijinks found in Alice in Wonderland. Far Cry 3's narrative benefits from a number of eccentric personalities, like Spike Lee's island-dwelling clone Dennis, gaming's most possessive and insane bitch Citra, and a doctor who indulges in enough mind-altering substances to make Hunter S. Thompson blush. Topping off the insane cast of characters is Voss, the leader of the pirates.
Look at me. Look me in the fucking eye. Eye! You fuck! Look me in the eye! You're my bitch. I rule this fucking kingdom. Shut the fuck up, or you die. What is it, Jason? Jason, what is it? Why aren't you laughing now like you did up there? What, is this not fun anymore? Have I failed to entertain you?
Unfortunately, Far Cry 3 blunders Final Fantasy VIII style by shifting the focus away from Voss partway through the game and substituting a far less engaging and charismatic villain. The well-worn theme of civilized man reverting to a more primitive state in order to survive a more primitive environment is a bit ham-fisted, and every few missions has Jason returning to his girlfriend so she can keep reminding players how much he has changed. Also, the plot is tainted by a white messiah complex. For some reason, it seems that legions of native warriors are not equal to one white guy with a crappy tribal tattoo and a desire to save his friends. While Jason is not a soldier or gun toter by trade, he quickly warms up to carrying a firearm and explosives in order to liberate his friends. Missions give Jason the opportunity to earn money and experience, which can be used to augment his skills and buy new weapons and attachments. Slaughtering the wildlife also gives Jason the opportunity to craft new storage for ammo, explosives, and money. The flora can be harvested in order to create medications that allow Jason to heal and enhance his senses. While all these crafting opportunities help make use of the large game world and the critters that inhabit it, it also means the game can have an agonizingly slow start. Initially, Jason can only carry one weapon and very little ammo, meaning that exploration grinds to a halt after only a few minutes before needing to resupply. You will want to craft new holsters to hold more weapons and compartments for more ammo immediately. Torching bears with flamethrowers, using grenades as depth charges to kill crocodiles and sharks, and running Komodo dragons over with jeeps does provide a depraved and perverted form of entertainment, however. Also populating the world are radio towers that have to be scaled in order to unlock a section of the map a la Assassin's Creed, and outposts that need to be cleared out in order to keep those pesky pirates from roaming certain regions of the map. Both the towers and the outposts have unique layouts and terrain that distinguishes one from another, but nevertheless you'll fall into the undesirable pattern of uncovering the map, then liberating the outposts as you progress deeper into the game, which becomes terribly repetitive. The wildlife in Far Cry 3 doesn't exist solely for the benefit of adding pouches to Jason's belt either. Animals are often found in cages in enemy outposts where they can be free to create havoc. It just so happens that pirates are much easier to kill when they're trying to save one of their buddies from being murdered by an angry cassowary. While Far Cry 3 provides weaponry and attachments that encourage stealth, it's also possible to raid outposts full shock and awe style with guns on full auto and chucking grenades like Eli Manning throws interceptions. Both methods have their thrills, but almost invariably players will lean on their overpowered weaponry late in the game to steamroll the opposition. The extra 1000 experience just isn't worth the time saved by storming an outpost Rambo style. Fortunately, Far Cry 3's main missions provide a much needed reprieve from the repetition of radio tower climbing and outpost raiding. Missions often take Jason to instance areas like abandoned Japanese bunkers from World War II and ancient temples with Indiana Jones style perils. Even a handful of late game filler missions offer some riotous thrills and enough fireworks to please even the most jaded action gamer. 4 stealth sections are staged in such a way that they are painfully easy, however, and some really irritating QuickTime events rear their ugly heads and detract from the experience. Likewise, a mid-game string of quests that have you raiding ancient temples to reassemble a magic compass throw the tone of the game way off. If all of the aforementioned content isn't satisfactory to you, there are also extra missions that have you killing animals and special targets with a specific weapon, score-based rocket challenges, and some small errands given to you by the NPCs. It's a rather robust single-player game that will last most players 15 to 20 hours. The Far Cry 3 experience doesn't stop with its campaign, however. There are 6 co-op missions that tell the story of a group of rough-around-the-edges characters who have been duped out of their money by the pirates and are pursuing them on Rook Island. The narrative is sparse, and the gameplay does little to really take advantage of having 3 friends playing alongside you. You earn experience that unlocks upgrades that can be used for the competitive multiplayer suite. Multiplayer is a collection of variations of classic multiplayer modes like Team Deathmatch, King of the Hill, Capture the Flag, and Domination. However, it does little to take advantage of some of Far Cry 3's more unique features. Don't expect your foes to be mauled to death by tigers or to be able to jump into a vehicle and make a hasty escape. Odds are, players will get more time out of the main campaign. Perhaps Far Cry 3's most standout feature is its visual presentation. For those fortunate enough to have lived on a tropical island, there are a number of fantastic details that brings the fictional Rook Island to life. The large areas of rust on the game's vehicles, the corrugated metal structures, Japanese Zero wreckage, and dense jungles will feel familiar to anyone who has visited an island in the Pacific. The terrain is detailed and filled with character. Caves hide ancient temples, pools of water conceal submerged tunnels containing loot and collectibles, and Japanese artillery batteries house dead soldiers whose journals reveal the history of the island. Water shows reflections and its clarity varies in different areas of the game's world. Foliage is dense and small details can be found around every corner. Detailed animations further immerse players as Jason flails his arms when on fire and throws his legs up onto high ledges to hoist himself up while climbing. All is not perfect, however, as improperly mapped textures that appear stretched and distorted can be found, and props drawing in is really noticeable. Given the size and the scope of the game world, all of this is forgivable, however. Far Cry 3 returns to the franchise's island roots and is largely successful. The captivating beauty of Rook Island promises to suck gamers in, though it's likely that the narrative missteps and repetitive gameplay design, partially lifted from Assassin's Creed, could have some players running for a lifeboat. With the Crysis franchise straying far away from the roots laid by Far Cry, and its successor to the soccer franchise some ways off, Far Cry is really the only option gamers have to roam freely, gun in hand, scooping up quests and murdering the local wildlife. With Far Cry 4 fast approaching its release date, it's clear that Ubisoft is taking advantage of the near monopoly they have in this FPS niche. But, can they distinguish Far Cry from their other franchises?
I wonder what she's cooking.